Also, is this team entirely composed of women except for Smoke?
No, it's entirely made of women except for Prodigy.
Huh?
Yeah, exactly. I'm insulting you for
Yeah.
being an elf.
Yes, you stupid elves.
Andre, if you want me to describe her, I can instead. Oh, you just woke up. Okay. So Andre's apparently a bit sleepy. So, and Andre, please send messages just in Map Tool, because it's a lot easier for me to see them that way. Grim, you're not here, Grim. Grim, you are handling the bombing threat at the funeral of Wolf Davy right now. Although I wouldn't be shocked if she just calls up Whiskey at the bar and says, "Hey, are there any keebs in the room?" Oh, yeah? All right, put me on speakerphone.
Fuck off! Hang it up.
Right, yes, bomb threats is Pyrette's fault, of course. I don't know if that's at all true, Mike, considering what a couple of these characters might get if you put them together. Anyway, Pink is a young-looking woman with very, very smooth, kind of supermodel-esque features, yet she still has distinct scars even on her face, and has a very obvious cyber arm for her left arm, although her fingers for that arm do look like a natural limb. She's pretty tall, and not that any of you could weigh her, but she's pretty heavy for someone who looks so slender and slight. But she looks like she could take care of herself in this neighborhood. Hell, she looks like she could take care of herself in the Lambeth containment zone, frankly. And Whiskey, you've probably seen her around. She probably would have come into the bar of the Hammersmith just to walk past the bar and head straight into the illegal casino. She visits gambling dens on a frequent basis, not just at the Hammersmith. And she looks like a young version of Prodigy's mother, actually. There are some similarities. In fact, perhaps they're related. Dun, dun, dun. But Pendragon, do you want to type up a description for yourself? Or considering this is the same girl who was at Hamlin's place, I don't really know what Pendragon wears, Kara. So all I know that she's a young-looking, kind of pale, Asian descent woman, a girl. I'm not sure. Someone who could astrally perceive, might be able to guesstimate her age more accurately, but even still, I don't know if a sensing can give you someone's age, can it? But,
Only if they're being deliberated by any kind of age issues, like age due to age and stuff like that. That's about it.
Also, will she introduce herself as Pendragon?
Oh, damn it, I muted myself. Yes, Kara, that's a good question. Yes, she does. Okay.
Whiskey will instantly reply to that, "You're not the bloody king!"
Well, Pendragon served the queen.
And bear in mind, Pendragon was the name of a pretty significant dude here in London who incited the revolt and riots that overthrew the Lord Protector. The
Yeah,
name
put the queen
Pendragon
back in
is
power.
kinda taken.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to Orchid. For some reason, I keep saying orchard, but no, it's orchid.
Okay, then we can forgo that last bit because yeah, indeed that would be the reply from Whiskey. She's kind of a slight fanboy of the Pendragon, or fangirl of the Pendragon thing.
But so what was the description again? Very neutral clothes, black waistcoat over black jeans with a nice gray scarf. And is anyone checking out the newbies? And then again, how many of you have worked together before? None of you have met Bishojo yet either, because Prodigy, like Twister was Athena, and Al Diablo, you were, what's his name? Thrax.
Heinrich.
Bobub was Heinrich. So Bishojo's a new face as well.
And Hunter was Hauser.
So does that glamour effect that Bishojo has? So you need to make kind of a will save against that or something?
Only if you're trying to do violence against her will you find yourself at odds with your own desires. You can retaliate against someone with glamour, but striking the first blow is nigh impossible.
But other than that, you just react to her as you would react to somebody with a charisma of like 13.
And she does, even though she's like a tall, muscular woman, is she wearing her Sailor Scout outfit right now?
Probably.
Yeah. Despite wearing a Sailor Scout outfit with military kit, she owns that. Like, she looks good in that outfit. You know nobody else would be able to pull that off, but she does. And yeah, Orchid, god damn it, Orchid has the very minimalistic fashion, which is perfect for London. She is dressed appropriately for London. And she says, I assume this is to Bishojo, that your sense of fashion is curious.
Make sure that that the bad guys are focusing on me rather than the squishier folk.
Damn girl, you're fine looking. Are you into gnomes perhaps?
That side would continue on for a noticeably long time.
Depends on how many pints I've had.
Oh, I can get you enough pints, don't worry. Look, you're in luck.
Whiskey, at this point also, because of Pyrette's exaggerated sigh, you could probably also make a joke about her having excellent lung capacity for certain purposes. Of course, you wouldn't say certain purposes, you'd flat out say oral. But Orchid, I'll get this right, Orchid, will say, I cannot fault your logic, although I believe they call it, what, costume play?
Normally, I've always heard of this just like role play or just sexy cosplay.
Cosplay, there you go. And she will say, I assume it's a fetish thing. Well, for other people perhaps, but Bishojo just explained that it's for distraction purposes. Okay. She's just rude. Okay, so Kara, do you want Orchid to have uncouth? All right, well, that's good to know. Orchid, add quality, negative quality, unfucking couth.
Make sure you add the fucking part into that too.
Well, hey, and it helps because, like, she has ridiculous charisma, but she's such a little shit that, you know what? It's appropriate.
Everybody finds her very impressive until she actually starts speaking her mind.
Well,
And then they all want to punch her.
Well, it's like she's such an adorable little girl, you know, like the sad Asian girl in the snow motif. And then, yeah, she opens her mouth and I'm like, wait a minute, what? And she opens her mouth again and you're like, oh, well, fuck, okay. When you get to meet her at her best, which is better than you. She's not actually saying that right now, but that's what she would be saying. Fuck. But yes, other than laughing smoke, Prodigy, Pink, do any of you have anything you want to say before Beckett gets to actually talking about the job?
So Pirate is... I remember that's your sister, I believe?
I'm pretty sure Smoke came to the Hammersmith
Yeah,
in
he
that
said-
roleplay session, so.
Yes, but he may have forgotten the fact that siblings, because they really don't look too much alike, especially with the size difference.
And Orchid will say, also, who's the kid, as she thumbs towards Prodigy? Twister.
Oh,
do you want-
he is a smarty pants hacker.
Twister, who hasn't had a chance to say anything yet. Did you have anything to add?
Prodigy would just put up his hand up and then realize what he's doing. And then he's like, I'm Prodigy.
Okay, Orchid says, oh, really? And raises an eyebrow. Does she look like she's genuinely interested in Prodigy, or is she looking like, once again, being a total cock? Curious and intrigued. Okay. Prodigy, you've already had to deal with, like, Voyne in the past and Sybil. How are you going to react to another strange little girl? Prodigy?
Sorry, I'm eating a moment.
So, Twister, who's...
actually.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So he doesn't actually do that. I was doing it as a joke. I should have put brackets. I apologize. He probably does a very quick search with facial recognition to see if he can figure out anything about her.
Remember, if you want to use facial recognition software to learn about people, you basically have to connect, like you have to put that photo to like Facebook. So it's the sort of thing that would be considered a faux pas between Shadowrunners. It's something you could totally do if you wanted to. Just realize that as a Shadowrunner, there's a certain expectation of anonymity, and taking someone's photo and then searching, like reverse Google face search on Facebook.
I
could
want to do the
be,
exact opposite of that. I want to search a database for the face and see if she exists online already. Not add her face to a database.
Yes, but to search that database for her face, you need to have the comparative data.
That's fair. All right, I'm in then.
So, like you, which of the two, do you have both software or do you have which one? Do you have Mona Lisa or facial recognition? Twister?
I'm not using the right thing to talk. I know that I have Mona Lisa, and I'm checking to see if I have facial recognition specifically. I'm saying that I know that you made the character sheet, so I know that you know. if
No,
you
I can't
called-
remember. I can't remember. Fuck's sakes.
Yeah. I looks like I just have Mona Lisa. 'Cause it wouldn't be in a combat one. Yeah, I just have Mona Lisa. Oh no.
Prodigy just got his first comlink number from a girl.
Probably not his first, but the first that is known that he's obtained it.
So Orchid drops an AR message right over top of Prodigy's comlink screen discreetly with her comlink number. Bear in mind, Prodigy doesn't, his comlink screen doesn't exist. His comlink is in his skull. Although, would he have his agent comlink with him?
Well, that's a second question of, at this point, are we just accepting that it's finished, or am I still working on that?
Considering the timeline on all other aspects, I'm giving it to you. I don't remember. We have to sit down and firmly
Yeah.
establish what the stats are on that thing.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think you've finished your anonymous agent.
Okay.
But yeah, so Orchid's popping the message directly into your eyesight, basically.
Okay. Should I roll composure to see how he reacts?
If you'd like to. If you're not sure how Prodigy would react to that, go ahead and roll composure.
I will roll composure then.
Meanwhile, Pink is just boredly staring at everyone, thinking to herself that she could be getting high right now, or hanging out with Leon, or possibly even gambling. Like, there's so many other things she could be doing right now.
Or she could be hanging out with Leon while getting high and gambling.
You make an excellent point. But Prodigy, your 2 hits, how do you feel?
He definitely has an ever so slightly surprised face for like a moment. But if anyone is looking at his face, which Orchid probably is, they'd be able to see it fairly quickly.
Do you okay, you know, anyone who wants to be looking at Prodigy, go ahead and roll Judge Intention. Fuck, Orchid. What would yours be? It's gonna be at least 13.
Welcome back.
If I'm not actively looking at Prodigy, do I have a penalty?
If you're not even looking at him, then you don't roll because you're not looking at him.
Well, I know that people are talking to Prodigy and he's yammering and talking back.
If you're looking at him, you can roll. If you're not looking at him, don't roll. If you feel you are distracted but would look at him, apply a penalty ranging from -2 to -4 based on how distracted you feel you are. El Diablo forgot to impersonate Whiskey, but at the moment, it looks like Orchid, Pink, and Whiskey have all picked up on Prodigy's little momentary moment. They have no idea, other than Orchid, what he's owing about, but for whatever reason, he just sort of looked surprised for a second. Pyrite, you're oblivious, aren't you?
Yeah, Pirate would probably have no clue. She doesn't really know Prodigy that well.
It doesn't matter if she knows you well or not. The problem is that I'm pretty sure. Oh, but this is a small thing. She's OCD. Is she oblivious and OCD or just OCD?
She only has OCD. She does not have oblivious.
Okay, so OCD Prodigy, yeah, she would pick up on that, but say she won't notice that Beckett has just shown up because Beckett's a big fucking troll.
Yeah.
But is anyone else rolling, or is everyone good? Like, it doesn't look
Yeah,
like the
the
Shoujo
only-
even cares.
But
Yeah, the only
JoJo would not
perception-
care.
Yeah. She only has like 2 perception or awareness issues, which is her OCD and her altered hearing, which she still has yet to get a hearing aid for.
Seriously? You don't have any auditory enhancer?
Otherwise, I would have
Okay.
counted that out by now.
Well, fine. Yeah, she's
Here's the
stubborn.
thing, though. She has to either go see a street dog and have a street dog poke around in her ears,
No.
or
no, she
get a
doesn't.
sin to go to a medical one to get a hearing aid.
She has a fake sin.
Does I have any good ones to go to a medical office?
Even still, you could just buy a generic hearing aid. You don't need a high quality one. Oh, goodness. But in any event, Pirate will be the only one who doesn't notice the big troll show up. Pink, you're not the biggest fan of this guy. Whiskey, he's your indirect boss. Like, he's like your supervisor, basically. He's Pulford's right-hand man. And Pulford's your boss here at the bar. So, you know, he's kind of your boss as well. And he's the kind of troll that if he were a regular human being, he would look like a professional heavyweight boxer. Retired, but, you know, for a troll, he looks like he could go toe-to-toe with Joseph Monteson. He's not as tall, but he is built.
Hiya, Beckett. Looking sexy as always.
And you're looking horny like usual.
Ah, well, they ain't getting any smaller. So, you want, now that everyone's here, everyone wants a drink?
Just as long as they pay, Whiskey. And Orchid will say, good afternoon. He'll look to Orchid, who's like the complete 180 of him. Oh, no. I guess Pirate would be even smaller. I don't know which of you smaller, but you're both tiny. Pink's blank stare turns into an annoyed glance. But Beckett is a little bit caught off guard by Orchid's good afternoon, but he rolls with it and says, good afternoon to you too, young lady. 1.58 meters for Pirate, I think.
Yeah, that would be about 4.5 feet tall.
1.57 for Orchid. You are literally a centimeter taller than the girl. Is it just me, or does our team have an abnormally large number of short people?
Well, this
Pirate
specifically does.
would not know how to respond to this because she has never been. Well,
She's probably met, like, dwarf children before.
yeah, but no, when she's around adults, she's never been like not the smallest person around. Ever.
Yeah, well,
She's-
Orchid's not an adult.
Also, I think that's only like a couple of centimeters shorter than my mother, by the way, in real life.
Well,
Wait,
she's only
how tall
5'2",
is
like-
Smoke and Bashija?
Smoke. 1.77 meters.
Okay, so about 5'7".
10. 5 foot
10?
10.
Okay. And how tall is Bashojo?
Well, once I
Wait,
realized
how tall
that I
is
have the
Pink?
wrong sheet open.
That's fair.
2.13.
Okay.
He's 7 foot even.
Yeah, I guess that is. Wait, that's not an elf, is it?
Nope.
Shoujo is human? Question
Okay.
mark?
Then how is she so tall? 7
She's a mutant.
Okay. Okay. Then instead of a question mark, it's probably over an asterisk.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
And how tall is Pink?
Pink's like 6 foot. She's pretty
Oh,
tall.
okay. So I am the third tallest out of this group, if I had to be in that group. 6'3". Never mind.
Wrong. Whiskey.
Yeah, that's number 1, and then Bashija's number 2, and then Pink's number 3. I
And then
thought
Smoke.
Pink was 6 foot flat.
Okay. So, Whiskey, you offered everyone drinks. Beckett stressed as long as they're paying for them this time, because apparently Whiskey has a bad reputation for giving away her drinks to people. And make sure you collect the fucking pay. Now then, the job is a pretty simple one. Pink there, and he points to the pink-haired girl who isn't the shoujo, She owes Pulford a bit, and to pay off that debt, she's providing us with an opportunity. But it's the sort of thing on her own she wouldn't be able to take care of. So that's why we need all the rest of you here as well.
Bruno puts his elbows on the table or bar, and has her puts his hands under his. Go on. Basically, as his demeanor is. Okay.
And Orchid says, I suppose that seems reasonable. And so this job's pretty straightforward. Some thieves are going to be stealing some merchandise from an illegal shop. So we figure that we're doing a public service, stealing from thieves who are stealing from criminals. You know, after all, we're getting some potentially bad stuff off the streets.
And the thieves, how many parts do you want them delivered in?
Don't touch them. We don't care. You know, leave them be. Leave them humiliated. It's fine. We're not looking to make a mess of things here. So,
But if it did turn into a mess, you wouldn't care.
I don't like to shit where I eat.
All right, I'll leave the high explosive at home.
Yeah, well, that's just it. I don't want this turning into a firefight or bloodshed or what have you. You just grab the guys as they're coming out with their haul. Or no, scratch that. No. Grab the guys after they've taken the haul out and are about to get into their getaway truck and take their getaway truck. Pretty simple. Give a good scare, keep them afraid, put them down. Don't let this come back to us, so wear a mask. Don't be all showy-offy.
Aw.
And immediately point over to Basojo.
Yeah, and he was looking right at Pashojo as he said this, so.
Also, one question that already pops up. Couldn't we just beat these thieves to whatever they're stealing and steal it ourselves, or is this hard?
The whole point is to leave them the blame from whoever it is that this is getting stolen from.
Ah, I get you now.
And do we know who it's getting stolen from?
Does it matter?
Nope. Just as long as you know, so it doesn't turn out to be some crazy dragon or something. I'm not getting paid enough to fight a dragon.
I really doubt dragons work in this kind of merchandise.
And for our safety, what is the merchant? What did it do to have us be hauling something explosive?
Well, I mean, he'll look at Pink, and Pink, you'll probably shrug your shoulders because you don't technically know what kind of drug it is, just that it's a drug. But I'll just let you decide if you want to handle this a little bit differently, this question. And Pink will say, drugs, buddy. That's really all I know. And Beckett will also add, and the cred sticks of all the dumb shits that have paid for it.
So these guys who are going to be actually doing the stealing, what do we know about them? If I can kind of quote how they say it down here on the street, are they odd?
The fuck you talking about? Are
You know
they
that
magic?
Cockney thing? I mean, like, are they hard? Like tough guys?
They're fucking thugs. You're fucking thugs, right? It's all the same.
But you know what isn't the same? How much you're paying us.
You get a % of the cut.
What percentage?
Oh, really depends, I suppose. But Pulford's a generous man, and if you don't want to, oh wait, Orchid will say that seems to sound like it means we won't be paid on delivery. All right, fine. You want a hard number? Sure. How's about we give you 15,000?
Can I run some kind of facial software to test to see if this sounds like she's really lowballing us?
Beckett's a man.
Sorry.
Do you have? Well, you've got your little Emototoy, right?
Yes.
So it's got fuzzy logic. You can ask it, and then it can roll. And I'll just let you do that roll for it. Meanwhile, Orchid says each. He says, "Fuck no." Pink laughs under her breath. This fucking guy. So yeah, he's offering you 15,000 for this job, for a relatively simple smash and grab. Not even really a smash and grab, more of a intimidate and grab. 15,000 doesn't sound bad. However, he was going to offer you a percentage at first, but because you guys kept bitching and moaning, apparently he's resolved. Fine, I'll give you a flat rate instead.
Not all of us.
But none of you objected to the percentage.
None of us really got a chance to.
None of us didn't object to the percentage. It was
Yes.
none of us said no to the flat amount yet.
That's true. So,
Luke's gonna speak up.
yep.
Depending on what drug it is and how much is on the cred sticks, percentage could actually be bigger than 15,000.
I will say, whatever Pulfart's happiest with, because Pulfart is generous when he is happy. He is very generous with pain if he's not. I've seen it.
Beckett gives a smile and a nod to Whiskey. Damn right.
The only reason I was asking, we're trying to ask about a clarification on the percentage is it would be terrible for us to do this job and then only get split between all of us. Is it more like 10%?
Sorry, Hunter kept cutting out from me there. Did you ask if it was going to be 10%?
Is it more like 10% or is it more like 15? What is the expected percentage that we're supposed to get?
All right, roll negotiation for me, and you can get a +3 automatically from having the other people, or you can ask 2 other people to roll their negotiation, and you'll get every 2 hits they get gives you 1.
I'll go with the automatic +3 because I would be expecting 6 hits. 2 people.
Between 2 people?
Yeah. Just to get that much.
I'd like to point out that unless they have like a low average, that's actually pretty good odds for getting it. I think.
Well, I don't think we actually have a face here. So,
Bishojo.
That's the point.
Technically pink as well. Also, that cat is really meowing.
I don't know why. She's just having some kind of anxiety or freak out for some reason. I've been trying my best to calm her down, but she just won't calm down.
What does the cat know that you don't?
I don't know.
The cat
She's just
knows-
having an episode or something.
that
Not
knows there's a
injured.
ghost right behind you.
I
Also,
honestly don't know.
Curious thing I noticed. It looks like empathy software does not give a bonus to negotiation.
That could just be Chummer fucking up.
Yeah, because that seems odd to me.
It does on Mike's sheet, so yeah, that's something weird.
It might be because I'm defaulting on the skill. I guess then it doesn't apply the bonuses.
Correct. It will not apply if you're defaulting.
And I definitely need some negotiation training.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go with.
Yeah, a Bobob, 80 centimeters for gnomes. Okay, shit. What page was that on?
Let's see here. I actually found it out because I just wikied it real quick.
Because yeah, that might be the average for 5th edition. You're from 4th edition, so.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
I'll
I did the conversion. 1.58 meters. That's like 5'2". I don't think she's that
Exactly.
tall.
No, you're right. It's supposed to be an average of 0.8 meters. So if you want to change Pyrette's height, we can do that. Otherwise, she can be a tall gnome.
I
I
couldn't
mean,
just say it would just be a tall gnome because of the troll genes and stuff.
Well, neither of her parents was a troll.
Looks at sister.
Yeah, her sister's a Fomari, but her mother was human and her father was a dwarf.
I guess we can do some adjustments there because 5 foot. It's
That's
one
the
point-
average height, according to global standards, of a 14-year-old girl.
Is witches 80 centimeters?
No. What Pyrette is the same as the average 14-year-old girl in the real world.
Yeah, that's what I think is what I was going for because I wanted to be around tween age and not look like an 8 or 9-year-old.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
but the problem being that you're a dwarf, then you have the neoteny on top of it.
I went ahead and rolled my negotiation at a +3.
Yep. Okay. So, right. He's like, fine, all right. We'll give you 7.5% or 15 thou, whatever ends up being better. But there's an upper limit here, okay? Don't try my patience.
Smoke looks at the group. That sound agreeable?
We can do this at a later date and see if we can just knock off a couple of inches.
And
Centimeters.
Orchid says it does indeed. And he will say, you do understand it's either the 15,000 as soon as you get back, or you gotta wait for us to count up how much everything's worth, and then you get your payday whenever we're done. You do understand that, right? So, Smoke, if you had let the shoujo help you,
That would have been 3 hits.
And
You
then
would
one
have
of
been
the
able to
person
select a second person.
and Orchid will say, of course, we aren't fools. And he'll nod his head and say, damn right. No
That's it.
bull-
I'll be working with Pulfort and you for probably still a while longer. I can all keep y'all in touch, as it were. So patience is not a big problem here, I think.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm sure we'll have at least some vague idea how much candy we got by the time we're done with this job.
Right, and I suppose I should actually make a note of that because I am so good at forgetting how much I promised to pay you. So 7.5% or 15,000 new yen. Group pay, not individual, for stolen bads. Okay. Does anyone have any questions of Beckett before he gets into the details of how to do the job the way he expects it to be done?
Once we grab and bag these guys and their illicit goods, where do you want us to drop them off? And what condition do you want them in?
Don't want the fucking people. I want the trucks and the money.
Yeah, but we need to know, do you have a place where they lined up where we should be dumping them? Because they may try to follow us or do anything else to try to figure out who robbed them.
I expect you to leave them in a state where they can't follow you.
Oh, I can arrange that, cracks her knuckles.
Not dead though. Whiskey.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, no,
What?
of course, you just break their kneecaps.
One leg
don't
per
make them
person,
bleeding out.
Whiskey. One leg, not two like I know you've done. One.
Orchid will say, we can figure that out. We are professionals. She'll look around. I assumed. Perhaps I'm wrong. Some of us are professionals. Right. Well, then sorry, what was that, Twister?
Prodigy just like snap his finger and like points in her direction while like looking over at Whiskey.
Agreed, some of us are.
And Becca will say, right. And he'll point to Orchid and say, the professionals are the ones that I expect to keep the non-professional ones in line. And Orchid says, yes, of course. Speaking of keeping in line, Pink rolls her eyes, to which Beckett points to her and says, Whiskey, make sure that one doesn't screw us over. If this goes sideways, bring her back here alive.
Right, boss. I get that. She doesn't seem all too happy about this. If she was smart, she would be happy about this, but oh well.
Right. Because that much new yen that you owe Pulford, well, you best hope your sweet self that this job covers that.
I do have a few questions about the job though, but I'll wait for you to give your whole full fanciful briefing before asking, else I might ask something you already are going to answer.
Oh, wait, did I mute to say that, or did you hear me?
None of us
Yeah,
are.
you were muted.
God damn it. All right, Pink smirks and says, sure. Also, have you been putting on weight? A little thick on the waist there. And a very angry Beckett snaps at Pink, saying, yeah, I've gained it by eating cunts like you. Now shut the fuck up. And she laughs. Is that a mocking laugh, or is she genuinely amused, or just a short guffaw? Mocking laughter. All right. All of you can see that Pink is definitely pushing Beckett's buttons.
Whiskey would go up to Pink and smack her. Just let's back on the along the back of the head. kind of. Or attempt to.
Right. Pink, are you going to let her give you a disciplinary tap on the back of the head? Oh, dear. All right. Orchid will say, she nods towards Pink and brings forth one of her army to watch over Pink. Sorry, your army or your spirit? Which, look, she's magical. They are all her army in her mind, but a spirit. Okay. And which one? All right, and is that materializing, or will only those who are astrally perceptive be able to see it? Okay, so a knight in plate mail with you would assume a feminine form underneath the armor, literally materializes next to Pink. Looking into the visor, you only see blackness. In fact, like there doesn't appear to be anyone inside the armor. But I mean, considering that she's probably going to have pretty high force, at least force 4, it's definitely obvious that this is not a actual person in medieval armor. They have 2. What kind of sword is that, Kara? Is that? It's long and narrow, but it's like the length of an arm. Arming swords? That's literally what they're called?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, interesting. With a kind of teal and brown tapestry fabric between the plate mail and leather buckles, holding it all together. So with that happening, Whiskey, are you...
No, as the night appears, Whiskey would definitely take a few steps back, kind of shocked.
User in your
What in the
channel stopped
blazes?
recording.
Uh-oh.
And Kara linked it. But my computer is telling me that it's out of room for the recording, so just a moment.
Ironically, in the picture, those handles look to be too long for an arming sword, but we have a picture. We know what they look like. It doesn't matter what they're called.
Yeah, those are not exactly arming swords, indeed.
They we call potatoes. We know what they look like.
I think those are definitely those are long swords in length. They're actually all getting close towards bastard swords, half-handers.
It's just with the blade. If
Yeah,
the
the
handle
blade
was,
went-
if the handle was different, I could possibly seeing it being a stock or a EP.
Yeah, if the blade was about to her shin, I think they would indeed count to arming swords. But since they reach the ground, they definitely get into longsword range.
And by the way, Hunter, that's a pay.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not.
My father
names.
did fencing for quite a long time, so I know a few of these words, and that is one of them. Because the 3 styles of fencing are foil, saber, and epee.
I think they're Shien, Masashi, and what's the other one? Soresu.
Nope, that's not fencing. That's actually closer to combat practice.
I think you're getting close to what I'm getting at.
Okay.
You know-
So, I've fixed the recording issue, it seems, and we'll be able to resume. Where the fuck was I when... right, the materialization. So the question to Whiskey is, will you still bother with going ahead on Pink now that there's a literal magical being standing there behind her instead?
User in your channel started recording.
Nope. No, she would take some shocked steps back and go, "What in the places?" And she would basically reach for her back to try. It looks like she would be grabbing for a sword, only to realize that she doesn't have a sword at the moment.
Orchid will say, if we could get back to the matter at hand.
Yes. Who, what, where, how, when. Quicker we get this done with, the quicker I can get back to drinking.
Right. So
I like her attitude.
Pink boldly states, "Oh no, I'm so scared. Just tell us what we're supposed to do, chubby." And then Orchid will raise her hand to dispel the night to let it disappear.
Sexier than you're skinny.
Right. So, the place this is going down at, we got the address from Pink there. And we also know that, according to Pink, there's at least 4 boys that are going to be doing the raid. And that they aren't expecting any trouble at all. But they're bringing some big nasty guns with them to scare the, I guess we call them farmers, up in their loft. They don't expect any trouble. So they're going to be, what's the word? Overconfident. And that's where you'll have your advantage. Once they've got all the goods, they'll think they're getting away scot-free. That is when you hit them. Fast, hard, knock them out, lock them up. Don't let them see who your faces are. Toss them back in the building that they were robbing. Take their ride. Get it to a medium point. Switch out the goods into a ride of your own. Bring the ride here. We'll empty it out in the back loading dock, away from prying eyes. See? Simple.
All right. How big and nasty are the guns we're talking about? Because we'll need bigger and nastier ones.
Yeah, probably shotties.
Oh, screw that. I carry a bigger and nastier gun than that when I'm going to the toilet.
And I am
Anybody got a
bigger and
ride that
nastier
we can
gun.
use?
Sorry, Desperado, then El Diablo?
I said, anybody got a ride we can use for that? My motorcycle only really holds me and my gear.
And El Diablo, was Whiskey saying something?
Whiskey replied to that, and I am a bigger and nastier gun.
Pink will say, you know, even if I wear a mask, I'm still pretty recognizable. So does it even matter? Yeah, it fucking matters. If you wear like balaclava, you know, cover your whole fucking head, you know, leave little peepholes for your eyes so you can see where the fuck you're going. Maybe a little hole for your mouth so that they can hear you when you say get the fuck on the ground. But you don't let them know who you are.
And probably don't let them know who we work for either.
Obviously. Orchid will say, or you could dress reasonably for the job at hand. This isn't amateur hour. We don't dress for the job we want. We dress for the job we do. Orchid, you're really making Beckett like you. The irony, of course, being that she's uncouth. But then so is he. So, Prodigy, have you wanted to add or ask anything during all of this? Yeah, and actually, you said you wanted to roll something earlier, but I never saw you make the roll.
Yeah, it was facial. Oops, sorry. It was facial recognition and everything for the newcomers that he had not interacted, but he's not going to be putting their face in the World Wide Web, so I'm not rolling for it.
Oh, okay. Pink says, whatever, fine, a mask.
But like I said, anybody have something that we can actually use to haul this the loot back to here?
No, afraid I'm a bike girl myself.
Oak raises a hand and says, I'm also a bike guy, so
Orchid says, and we may need to cover your weebish obsession with something more neutral. Is she saying that to Pishojo, I imagine? Oh, yeah.
Shoujo flips her off.
Right. If none of you got a truck, rent one. If none of you want to rent a truck, I'll rent it, and then you can pay me back with your cut of the loot.
Well, we are going to steal their getaway car anyway, right? Do we really need a truck to go in?
Transfer from their vehicle to your vehicle. We don't know how well they're equipped to track their own vehicle back. Besides, we want them to look like total fucking amateurs. Dump their truck somewhere that gets them in shit. And Orchid says, yeah, we will rent it. Pink says, I think it's kind of cute, though. And she smirks at Bishojo.
Shoujo winks back.
And for fuck's sake, if you are going to rent a truck, make sure that you don't leave any of the goods in it. I mean, professionals, and he points at Orchid, would know this, but I'm just saying it in case any of you here don't think of it. And Pink will say, we could just steal a truck. And Beckett's like, sure, just do it the right way. And Orchid will say, yes, of course. I use rent lightly, so we will handle the situation as needed. Beckett will say, thank you. This has already taken an assload of time. Anything else you fine professionals need? Orchid will say, I agree. It has taken some time from your day.
Well, I still am wondering about the where. Where are they going to strike?
He would have given you the address like on a data chip or something.
Okay, and it's not.
And Pink would know the location.
And it's not in well-known Yakuza territory or.
It's in the Lambeth containment zone.
Ah, okay.
So the second question is, where are we delivering it after we collect it?
Here, you're bringing it to the Hammersmith, to the loading dock.
Are you sure you want us to do that?
We
Wait,
got
what time
the,
period is this?
We got the nice, quiet loading dock. You bring it round back, you bring the whole van inside the building, and we unload it. Nobody even sees a thing. You're not bringing their truck. You're bringing your own truck.
That's fine.
And wherever you make that switch off, make sure there's no fucking prying eyes or cameras watching. And I imagine at least one of you is magic. Like Whiskey, you say your sister, she's magic, right? So keep magic overwatch too. We don't want no watcher spirits getting an eye on this. Blast the fuckers if you have to, but no fucking witnesses of any fucking kind. And Pink says, so shoot all witnesses. Sounds good. No, don't shoot. Just if they're the fucking watcher spirits, you know, the ones that don't actually have like anything up in their magical fucking mind. You're not magical. You don't fucking know. You're the short one. And he points to Pirate. You know how it works.
Yes, I can make sure to dispel any watcher spirits that may do that, and I'll make sure to cover up any kind of trace we leave magically wise.
She's
Good.
pretty good at it. Not so great at big
And,
fireballs, though.
Also, you do have my apologies for having to deal with my sister for so many years. Or for however long you've known her.
Not long enough, but too long at the same time.
You wouldn't be the first, nor will you be the last one to ever say that about her.
Same goes for you, sis.
Yeah, but we're family.
Pig will say, just like your... Never mind.
Bishojo just finally burst out laughing at all this. All right. We'll take care of it. Get a truck, steal the stuff, steal their truck, put the stuff in our truck, and leave their truck parked out in front of the nearest, I don't know, police department.
Or crash it in the middle of the village. That'll be fun.
Don't shit where you eat whiskey. How many times I gotta fucking tell you that?
Do you work in the village?
I got friends.
Huh. Well, that kind of impresses me, actually.
And he motions with his hand like he's gonna bitch slap you, but he doesn't, like, that threatening kind of keep it up and I'll smack you upside the head kind of hand gesture.
And Whiskey
As soon as he
actually
raises
did not look like she was mocking him. She looked genuinely impressed.
Yes, and he's still threatening her. But Pirate, you have a response to that?
He's gonna give him a look as soon as he raises his hand against my sister.
He doesn't pay attention to you, Pirate. You're too small.
Yeah.
But maybe the
Yeah.
rest of us would see the murder in her eyes.
Yeah.
Orchid will say, this doesn't seem as a complicated job as we are making it. I apologize for the amateurish behavior of these newbies. Okay, irony time. This is Orchid's first Shadowrun. Not that any of you know that, but yeah, that's hilarious to me.
At that point,
just want to make sure.
Bishojo gives her a look too, like, at the newbie comment.
Just want to make sure on this. The Hammersmith is located in the West End, right?
No, East End.
East End. Okay, so.
So if you go to the
dogs-
London map and you go to the Map Explorer under Players, the Hammersmith family crossed out, Entertainment and Public House, aka Whiskey's Bar, is right on the border between the Dogs, the Docklands, and the East End.
Okay, so the safest place then to dump this off to make him happy would be the South Side.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
we
pretty
ain't-
far away. Southside's, yeah. So yeah,
We
like,
don't want to dump this in the arcology section. That would be a bad
Yeah.
idea.
So yeah, it kind of makes sense. You do the ambush in the Lambeth containment zone, drive their truck to like somewhere else, possibly outside of Lambeth if you can make it. Transfer the stuff to your vehicle there. Someone else, remote pilots their vehicle if possible to Southside, and you take your vehicle up, get out of Lambeth as quickly as you can, and bring the vehicle all the way back over to the Hammersmith.
A good location for that then would be Brixton. We can head easily north on the main road, and then let that head west into Southside.
Sorry, I don't see Brixton. Where's that?
It's right here between.
Oh,
Southside
Brixton Road.
and- yeah.
Oh no,
That looks
Brixton.
like a good.
Brixton is okay. I see it. Yep. Okay.
That looks like a good place because that gives us a good clear road north that we can easily use to get out of there, and then easy road west to get into the south side.
Just be aware that what was the scale on this map? One hex is 100 meters, so that's about 5 kilometers from. Yeah. So basically, where this job is going to take place is like right underneath the A of the word containment on the map.
If the roads. Go ahead.
My suggestion would actually be to go outside the Lambeth containment zone towards the east, and actually
The observatory or Greenwich?
below there, make the switch around the A2, and then take the bridge upwards towards the docks, and then towards the Hammersmith.
So you're saying like around here in this wooded, grassy area,
Yeah,
and then we head this way, and then we send their truck down this way.
possibly, yeah. But I don't think we should take the goods. Well, we have to consider that we have to cross the Thames, so we have to rely on one of the bridges. And I don't think we want to go through the Palace, the City of London, or the centre of London, because those will have heavy security.
The other
Go ahead.
The other important thing I want to mention is that the Lambeth containment zone is walled off. In recent years, they've started to tear down those walls. However, it's still the most dangerous part of the city. Ergo, there is a lot of
Checkpoints.
Security checkpoints around the perimeter. So just something to be aware of.
On the plus side,
Either
you
way-
have no need to worry about organized crime in the Lambeth containment zone. They won't even stand for that.
Congratulations, Twister.
So my dad texted me while I was at
Congrats.
work. Being like,
Congrats.
hey, do we get anything tomorrow? Also, you have a new nephew.
A new son.
I almost
What?
said that. I canceled myself out before I said the letter N. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, but according to the map, we only have like there's 3 main bridges across over here and right here, but we have a few smaller bridges, but that right in the middle of town though, like right next to the City of London and the palaces and stuff like that.
And technically, all of this is that secure area as well, where that bridge crosses. You can just sort of see that darker gray. Like all of that counts as city as London.
Yeah. So the only option we have
But-
is possibly these bridges then.
Let's do the planning after we finish the briefing.
Okay.
But Pink, your contacts potentially could be helpful. For context, though, Pink, the place that the bandits made their plans is the other half of the duplex, which Sid's place is. So when you're staying at Sid's place, you can hear the people in the other half of your building. And you heard them, literally overheard them, making their plan for this heist. And that's how you got all the details. And that's, So, paper-thin walls in a duplex is basically their mighty failure here.
Come to think of it, given the Asian flavor that exists in all parts of Shadowrun, they might literally be paper thin.
Well, I mean, drywall made from paper mache, maybe?
Well, that's gonna get rotten and eaten through really quickly.
Yeah, no, they're probably rotten walls. It is Lambeth containment zone, after all. I imagine the black mold is a very serious problem all throughout.
Isn't there also a sentient, magical, or mutant mold out there as well?
I don't know about sentient, but there is the astral bacteria, which drains magical astral. What's the word?
Essence?
Yeah, essence, magical essence. That's not what the word I was looking for, but basically, yeah. It's the weapon they use to kill insect spirits.
Look, the point is, Lambeth's. There are parts of that Lambeth that, even with the improvements, are still what they call a Z zone. The cops
Yeah.
won't go in there for anything.
Remember, that's where the Remoras come from. Their entire family developed in the Lambeth containment zone when the walls went up. They thrived because they created chaos and then used that chaos to prosper. But hey, the Remoras are now officially defunct. So, yay, things are looking up for the
Power
LCZ.
vacuum.
And like I said, there's not going to be much organized crime there. There's too much disorganized crime there.
Oh, there's organized crime too. Just they very proudly defend their territory.
And they're probably local.
Oh, yeah, no, plenty of local, but there is also Triad, Yakuza, even Vori now. Since the walls have started coming down, they've started coming in because it's opportunity. The police don't have everything under control yet, but things aren't as chaotic as they used to be. So this is the perfect place for them to lay down foundations so that they can help, quote unquote, rebuild. Vori less so, but Yakuza, Triad, hell yes. They will help people rebuild, so those people owe them.
Also, technically, we are currently organized crime. So if we go in there and commit crime, then yeah, we are organized crime moving into the Lambeth containment zone.
And it looks like Orchid sends a private message to Prodigy. Is that private, Orchid? Okay, so it's an AR message, but it's specifically designed so that Prodigy would be the only one to see it unless other people were looking very, very close.
Yeah, you could probably have it in small font, close to his face. That would do the job.
Are you getting the hint yet, Prodigy, that you should open up a private channel with her?
Nope.
Nope. Oh dear. But yeah, so her message says we should plan on 2 trucks, one a decoy if price is reasonable.
Yeah.
Does Prodigy respond to any of this?
Yeah. He would probably turn to her and agree, but he'd do it very quietly because they don't need to know our planning. Our client doesn't need to know everything.
Okay, so Prodigy would make eye contact with her and nod his head, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, you sound very distant and your keyboard sounds very close.
I'm going to turn this around. Does that sound better?
That sounds so much better, yes.
I'm sorry. I realized that for some reason, during various activities on the computer, I appear to have flipped my head mic.
God damn it, you've broke Twister's mind.
You know what? It's really late already. I think we should just end the session there. I'm going to bed.
No.
God damn it.
No, you stay. Ah, goodness. All right. Where were we? Right, we're not even supposed to be doing the planning phase right now. We're still talking to Beckett, goddammit. Did anyone else have any questions for Beckett, or can he fuck off already? He's got work to do.
Bishojo's not keeping him.
To be fair, I thought he already fucked off.
Yeah, I was kind of the same boat. I thought we were... I guess we didn't directly do it, but yep.
Okay, so apparently Pink scoots over to Beckett and drops some Zen in his lap. There we go. She says, "Stop being so mad, you big baby. We'll get this
shit,
done.
let's have some
I've got
drugs."
luck with it. I've got luck with this kind of stuff." And he looks down and he picks up the Zen. He says, "Oh, is this the stuff they're selling?" Pink will say, "Not quite." And he's like, "Then why? What the fuck are you trying to do?" And she says, "I've heard it's better." Right. And he'll
Trying
just
to get you high, apparently.
he'll flick the Zen patch back at you.
Can we roll to see if the patch sticks to her and she starts taking it
It,
in?
it was not peeled open.
Does she have unlucky or anything like that?
No, she has the opposite of that.
Okay.
And she says, "More for me then." And he's like, "Yeah, well, I don't mix business with pleasure. even though my business is pleasure. Never fucking mind. Get the
Well-
work done. I'm out of here.
Beckett,
Unless any of you
Beckett.
stop him. Oh, you're stopping him?
Yeah, I kind of in a kind of private tone. Do I also maybe need to watch that they, don't partake in the gods?
Obviously. Make sure they don't sneak off with any of the cred or the goods. Should go without saying.
Right. All right. I'll keep an extra eye for that then.
Good on you. Kara, was what you're typing, was that meant for Beckett? Not for Beckett, okay. Orchid drops another tiny AR message to Prodigy. Seeing as you seem to at least not be one of the children here, do you know any of these village idiots, or did we just get bad luck?
Directly to her, because at this point he probably has her information.
Oh yeah, remember that was the first thing she sent was
Yeah.
her contact number.
Well, directly to her, so now she'd have his. He put a small layer over whiskey, a large layer over whiskey, small one over Pirate, small one over Smoke, and then like an asterisk over Smoke, so that if she looked at it, it opened it or anything, it would be like not technically a village idiot, arguably not a village idiot.
Ouch. Okay.
I mean, it feels like it would make her laugh compared to just a straight up denial that he's a village idiot.
Okay. Okay. Prodigy, have you ever worked with Smoke on any job?
Yeah, I've
Once.
worked with him at least twice, for sure.
Prodigy was there with the auction back in Moscow.
Right, that was Smoke, wasn't it? Okay. And then, of course, everyone in Moscow did that finale before Blackbird. So,
Yep. I think this might be a good time actually to take food, beverages.
okay, yeah. We can go ahead and break for break now. If I can just find where there it is, and stop the recording.
User in your channel
So,
stopped recording.
yeah, let's say back in about 8 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes.
Yep. And I just love it. Prodigy and Orchid are the mature, calm ones. Do their ages total up to be 40?
No,
No.
no.
Are you kidding me?
Do they
Prodigy's
totally
age totals
add
up
up
to
to
be
30?
17?
Yes, their total exceeds 30.
Hey.
Only because Prodigy at 17 and Orchid is definitely older than 13.
I just find it hilarious that apparently they've decided, or at least Orchid has decided, that they're the two adults in the room.
Well, to be fair, they weren't making snide comments to the employer.
I don't think Masoja did any snide comments to the employer. To some of the fellow employees, maybe.
Yeah, says she laughed at Pink making fun of Beckett, or at least that's what Beckett assumed the laughter was.
Oh no, it was at everybody at that point. But anyway.
Right, I'm going to take my headset off and try and put some fluid in me. Okay, we'll start the recording off when Pink. When we get back, I'll be reading Pink's message to start us off. All right, so Pink says, "So, ladies and more ladies, I could probably easily get us a couple of trucks, but I'd have to get a hold of my love lion." To which Orchid replies, "I would have questions, mostly about the... You know what? How about you just extrapolate on that just a tiny bit first?"
Love Lion, so what? He sits in the shade and makes you do all the work?
Out of character. If only Katya were here.
Yeah, since it goes like, yeah, we have a few ideas. Yeah, easier.
No, just waiting to see what Andre's reply is in character to Orchid's statement about extrapolating. But yeah, it looks like Beckett's headed off. Pink will say, well, there isn't anything tiny about Leon, I could tell you that, but I have connections in Lambeth, obviously. They could provide us a couple trucks. Is no one going to, okay, well, Orchid will say, that's good. A couple would be good. Gives us decoys and potential if the haul is too grand.
Or if we want to divide up the risk.
I don't think that dividing it up would be the best idea. Decoys might be a much better option.
I think so too, just naming the options here.
Pink says, I could possibly get us some boys to drive the decoy themselves.
I mean, as long as it's controllable by AR or VR, I can handle that option.
And Orchid will say, option noted, considered, evaluated, and we thought better of it.
Well, to be fair, this is Lambeth. How old are these trucks that you may or may not be able to get?
And as well, what's the size of the hull?
Out of character, Pink won't know that, but she can lie if she wants to.
And then we can all roll to see if we catch the lie, if we want to.
Pink says, let me contact Leon first. I don't do the thinking. I give those idiots orders. And she says idiots in a loving way. I like how she just straight up admits, I don't do the thinking.
Doesn't inspire me at all, but of confidence.
All right, so go ahead and roll your. I think your etiquette and leadership and all that are the same. So that plus your loyalty rating with Leon. And I will roll Leon's connection, if you can just let me know what his connection is. Andre, are you having trouble finding the dice to roll? Ah, there we go. Oh, you pre-edged it, did you? Well, fuck. Okay. That's a lot of dice. Okay. Okay, so basically what happens is that Pink, you pull out your comm link, and before you can even start to dial, the screen lights up with the picture of his face and incoming call, Leon. Oh, and what kind of pet name would he have for Pink? Would it be something like playfully insulting, or would it be lovey-lovey, or is he like too cool for that shit and he'll just say her name?
It's purple. The pet name is Purple.
Bubblegum. Okay. Purple's funny, but we'll go with Bubblegum. So I imagine Pink answers the phone, considering that he's calling. All right. So he's like, "Hey, Bubblegum, how you doing?" Says, "I'm doing good. I was actually about to call you." He's like, "Oh, cool. What about?" She says, "I got a job I gotta do. I'm fucking over some thieves. Can you get me a couple of trucks and some boys who can get a job done?" So as he replies on the phone, do any of you want to say something to Pink about her bringing in more people on this job?
Yeah, she probably was going to raise the fact that the more people we bring on this job, more people who are on the know, which means more people who can expose or slip up. We were
More
told to
people
keep
getting
this quiet.
paid.
Yeah.
And so you will be saying that out loud at Pink as whoever she's talking to hears on the phone. Oh, and Orchid will add, "Yeah, and more people on the payroll," which is, well, it looks like Prodigy beat you to it there, Orchid. But so as you people are saying that, the person talking into Pink's ear that none of you can overhear says, "You fucking with me right now? Did fucking Steve-O tell you? What the fuck, Bubblegum?" And he's got a sort of playful laugh to him, but you can also tell he's a little bit surprised about what you're asking for. Ah, the shoujo. You. Ooh.
She's pretty good at math. Her specialty's subtraction.
You know, that sounds like something they would say in one of the Shadowrun splat books.
And occasionally division if she's got a big enough blade.
Or enough bullets.
Yeah, yep, there is that too.
And Pink says, "Don't worry. They know if they blab, Leon will break their kneecaps." So she's saying this to everybody else. And then, plus, Leon just needs me as a payment. And she frowns into the phone. "What's wrong? You ain't got no girls over there, do you?" It's like, "No. You're fucking... a couple of trucks." And so... fucking Steve-O blabbed, didn't he, man? Like I was gonna... We just got this whole... fuck, where are you, Steve-O? I'm gonna fucking punch your lights out. What the fuck is... what do you mean Steve-O's not here today? Steve-O's off sick. Okay, Bubblegum, how the fuck did you know?
People's out practicing jackass-related things.
Nou hoort the unprofessional here.
Out of character, you can't hear anything about what he's saying to Pink.
Okay, never mind.
Unless, of course, Prodigy or Orchid wants to hack the phone call.
Yeah, probably not.
Or smoke.
Smoke could try. Pink says, "Overheard some people talking in Tent City. Why?" Shit, man, we just did this. How the fuck fast is... God damn it, man. Now we're gonna have to, like, toss the whole fucking load if people already know. Like, what the fuck? I thought we did it clean. Okay, who the fuck told you? I need to go rattle their cages. Out of character, even though none of you can hear this conversation in character, have any of you as players figured out what's going on?
Yeah, they're the ones up behind the heist and stuff.
Well, I've
Which
got a few
heist?
guesses.
The ones we're probably gonna have to jump.
Nope.
Yeah, no, they've already completed this heist.
Wait, how far back is this one?
Nope. All right, Pink says, God damn it, are you fucking kidding me? Is that your shipment I'm talking about? Nope. Okay. She specifically asked for a couple of trucks. He even repeated a couple of trucks. That's when like he started to get really confused.
What?
And so what's going on is that they just heist. They just stole some vehicles. And
Yeah, that's what I said.
you
They
said
just
vehicles?
completed- I just said they just completed the heist to get these vehicles. And
Okay,
then
so
you
I
said,
thought
nope.
I thought you said the drugs. I thought you said
Oh, no,
completed
no.
the heist that we were going to do.
That was someone else. But I
Okay.
guess we did speak at the same time.
Also, I kind of like what Orchid says though. Is this like Hamlin just walks out his front door, his truck is stolen?
All the my drugs.
And so she's like, "Oh, your shipment. I'm talking. Is this okay? Okay. Let's start from the beginning here. You said you need some trucks, right?" She says, "Yeah, you big idiot. That's what I said before you started rambling." Right. So my shipment of trucks. How did you find out about it? She laughs. I just needed some trucks. I didn't know that you just got some. I'm just lucky, I guess. Okay, so then. Wait. So you don't know about the trucks? I mean, other than the fact that I just told you I have trucks. What the fuck were you. What shipment, if not the trucks? Also, out of character, the rest of you can be having a conversation with one another while this phone conversation takes place. Unless you're all just riveted watching Pink talk into her comlink.
OCD.
Most likely he's busy texting November.
On a job? For shame.
Technically not on the job yet.
You are on the job. This is totally on the job. You're meeting with a Johnson, that's being on the job.
He's already left.
You're associated with other Shadowrunners. That's being on the job.
So is this going to work, or do I have to go out and try and jack some cars?
After she says that,
Oh, okay. Orchid will text to Prodigy. So what's up with the big one? Was that bravado or brain damage?
and then Whiskey says that, and Prodigy will just straight up look over and be like, yes.
Yes, bravado and brain damage. Fantastic. Pink will say, "Damn it, babe! I just need to get a couple." Twister, you were making a lot of noises. Okay. Pink says, "Damn it, babe! I just need to get a couple of trucks and some goons to complete a debt job. I just talked to Beckett. You remember him, right?" Why November 5th? Are you trying to make a remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder reason and plot?
Yes, that was what I was referring to.
No, it's definitely his first contact. Well, which might be his downfall. But anyway, so Pink saying, "I just need some trucks and some goons to complete a debt job." Okay, is any of you going to interrupt Pink again on bringing in goons?
No
Yes.
goons, we can handle it ourselves.
We don't need drivers. I got that covered. Oh, should be able
We
to.
don't need goons. I point over to my sister. We already have the leader of the goon squad.
Damn right.
I always figured you'd have leadership experience.
And, all right. And so Pink will say, okay, fine. No goons, just trucks. And Leon will be like, okay. Like, and you don't even care about what kind of trucks or nothing? Because, like, the trucks I got, they ain't normal.
You get him to define that? Oh wait, I'm technically not there.
You're there, you just can't hear what he's saying. Although, you know what? Composure rolls from Orchid and Prodigy, please.
Wait, it's like my last message I sent.
What's your last message?
3 hits.
Yeah, you don't feel the overbearing, pressing need. Oh, right, Orchid, your sheet's not done. You'll probably be looking at 13 minimum. 3 hits as well, Orchid. She's bugging you, but again, you can be patient. But Pink will say, ones that are big size and close to identical, they need to be expandable. And he'll say, well, I mean, they're big. They're definitely identical. I don't know about them being expendable, man, though. All right, so just a little bit of backstory here, Bubblegum. But you know how that crazy... fucking what are those government types called? Aldermen? Yeah. Started shipping food down into the Lambeth here. Well, after they dropped off the food, one of my boys figured out what the access codes were, and we jumped them. We got the whole fucking fleet. 5 big-ass transports.
Oh my god. They
That's
fucked
great for a
over Alderman
smuggler.
Parson. No, that's not true. It wasn't Alderman Parson, was it?
No, it was somebody else.
Okay.
But it's still, none of you know this yet. But yeah, basically the equivalent of an Ares Roadmaster, yes.
Is there anybody here who needs briefing on exactly what an Ares Roadmaster is?
I believe it's a giant combat truck, isn't it?
No, not combat. It's literally just a transport truck.
But they are very heavily armored and very large.
Not subtle.
But they are transport trucks. Like, when you're shipping large amounts of stuff,
Well, it literally says for the Roadmaster, it's anything but low-key. So maybe it's more like a tractor-trailer type rig.
is
What
that in
he's
the
got.
core rule book or the arsenal?
Arsenal.
What
Ares
page?
Road. Let's... 109.
Okay, I'm way too far. That's why I can't find
Yeah,
it.
they're what happens if you cross a box truck with an armored personnel carrier.
Okay, there isn't a picture for it, though. Okay, so yeah, actually, it would be more like the Zug machine. Nordcap Zug machine, tractor trailer. This is a large tractor trailer intended to convoy low-value goods across a highway system all over the globe. Despite the lack of security, there is still a need for tractor-trailer combinations since many places are not conveniently located near railroads. Many Nordcaps have been upgraded with the capability to defend themselves more aggressively, and a single driver/rigger may end up controlling a convoy of 3 tractors and 9 trailers to reduce costs. Still, no matter how little something may be worth to some, to others, any cargo is worth trying to hijack. Yeah, Kara, like that. That's an excellent image. And Pink will say, which goon? Davis? Give him a high five for me. And then she addresses the group. I can get us transport trucks, but they aren't really expendable.
How subtle are they? This is being asked in character because Pirate would know nothing about cars.
This is where you need Greaser or Wipeout or
That Minotaur.
Daddy Mac. Orchid will say, Pink will say, subtle? I mean, they are identical. Orchid will say, fine, we will be careful. The decoy only needs to divert them before we handle them, not to be a gift to them. Way too valuable for a milk run. So, fuck. Yeah, never mind. Continue on. Continue. Okay. Pink will say, okay, Love Lion, can I borrow 2 of those trucks? And he's like, well, when you say borrow, you mean like borrow with intent to bring back, or borrow it's going to end up in the Thames? Orchid will text Prodigy. I question the value of driving around recently stolen trucks we can't verify the safety of, but she would know better, right?
Pink. So Prodigy
So,
basically.
Pink will say into her phone, I'll do my best to bring them back. The more damaged they are, the more I'll help you out with the gang. Deal? But Prodigy, you wanted to say something?
Prodigy would basically ask that question that Orchid just asked him, because he doesn't know Pink at all, so he has no idea.
So why don't you go ahead and roll etiquette, and we'll see just how butchered Prodigy asks this question.
I don't want to do that. It's a what is it? It is a 10.
No,
No. It's not a 10. Minus
4, I think.
yeah, it's a 4. Please don't be agree. Oh, thank goodness that's the wrong letter. 3. Oh my goodness.
Damn, nice. Okay. So Prodigy will phrase the question in such a way as to ask, Pink, I'm sure you trust your contact, but the rest of us don't know the situation here. Could you get us a little bit of detail on exactly what kind of trucks these are?
So while this is happening, Prodigy's gonna text Orchid asking how long she's been in the city.
So before Leon can answer, Pink will say, okay, they got some stolen trucks from some government assholes. But listen, kid, anything in the Lambeth can be dangerous. So that being said, does it matter? The government doesn't have much influence there yet. Leon will reply to Pink and say, okay, we got a deal. Sure. You know, if these are hurt at all, you know, you can work off your time with the Lions. Oh, sorry. What's the name of the gang again? Pink? Out of character, that is. Something. Oh, shit. Landseers. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, you can work it off with the Landseers, you'll say. Meanwhile, Orchid replies to Prodigy in text, I grew up in the surrounding area, so most of my life. Effectively all. You?
So, Prodigy would probably type the response immediately after to Orchid, but then he'd ask Pink first. So are they kind of moving targets for people that don't like the government then? If it's or have they at least at all been disguised? And Prodigy would type a response to Orchid, telling her basically the same. He was recently out of the country, but he's back. He doesn't know how long though.
Pink will say, if they know me and see me, they would probably know better. No idea what the context is for that. Orchid will say, will text. International travel is always fun, or rather, usually is, depending on circumstances. Do any of the rest of you want to get in on Prodigy and Pink's back and forth here?
No, because when I sent the 3 arrows, I went into direct chat. So at that point, Orchid would have had my direct chat.
Not Orchid. Pink.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Between Pink and Prodigy.
What's her notoriety?
She's assuming she's all that in a bag of chips.
Uh-huh.
So we got the transport taken care of then?
That sounds like whiskey. Pirate, you want to help your sister?
Seems like we do, but it's going to be rather to follow if I'm having any kind of understanding at all what kind of vehicle you're talking about.
She literally said they got stolen trucks from some government asshole. Pirate, I think you are sensible enough to know that's not a good thing.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, yeah, those things are going to be tagged, rigged, everything.
Yeah.
And not to mention, if we start driving around in vehicles that are clearly marked that way, or with any resemblance to that in these roads, we are immediately going to get so much unwanted attention in traffic because they're going to be on the lookout for said vehicles since they've been so recently stolen.
Plus, I think even if we get safely here, I think Beckett would not be too happy with hot vehicles, as it were.
No, that was pretty clear. He wants no heat brought back to the,
Hammersmith.
yeah.
Hammersmith.
Honestly, I don't either. I mean, I live here.
Pink will say, Leon, can you make them identical but not disguise them to not look like they're stolen? He's like, I'm not a chop shop, bubblegum. I mean, we were just going to flip these. You know, it's not like... This isn't our usual type of haul.
Sounds like a bunch of idiots who just got really lucky and now have no idea what to do with it.
Out of character, yes. Orchid, so question, while they may be useful where we are, most of our journey around here would be in very identifiable areas. Perhaps we should find better, more discreet transport.
So,
And Pink will sigh out loudly.
while this is happening, Prodigy is going to respond to Orchid and say, depends on the circumstances. Try to get in contact with Jack the host. So I guess I'll roll etiquette plus connection? No, plus loyalty.
So negotiation or what have you, again, remember that you don't have the bonus from your emote toy, plus your loyalty. And what was the connection, sorry?
Connection rating is 3. Loyalty 4. So it's.
And Pink will just say, I'll call you later. There'll be a last resort if we don't get anything else. Love ya. And he'll be like, oh, okay. Do you want to edge that prodigy?
Yep.
Now, that's a well-used edge, I'd say.
And it is more than enough to basically get a hold of Jack, the host, right away. And he'll be like, hey, kid, what do you need? And this will be happening in VR, so lickety split. Oh, actually, that's assume. Will Prodigy go into VR for this, or will he be doing it in AR? Twister, I think you're muting when you mean to talk.
Fuck. He'd be there in person due to the fact that he's there with Orchid and Pink, or else none of that interaction could have happened. So he's there in person, and he's not gonna like slump to the ground. So this is definitely an AR, not VR.
Right. So Jack will be like, kid, can't you slot in? I mean, time is money, and if you're not in VR, you're wasting my time.
Well, I'm kind of in a meeting. It's just I can't meet. Are you busy? Do you need me to call you back later?
I'm as busy as I always am. Nothing too much on the kettle, but you know, it's still, like I said, time is money. So, I mean, if you're not going to slot in, please, no offense, but get to the point.
I need 2 transport trucks that are not easily identifiable, available soonish if you can.
Out of character. Did you mean to say transport truck?
No, I didn't. Transport vehicles.
All vehicles are used for transport.
Well, I mean,
cargo van? Is that perhaps what you're thinking?
Are you looking for an APC, a cargo van, a cargo truck?
A
have to
tractor
Google half those
trailer,
things
a
are.
city master.
Cargo van is what you're looking for.
Cargo van works, yeah. I need to say
Okay.
cargo van.
All right, it says,
Honestly, I've always used transport truck and cargo van interchangeably.
transport truck tends to be the ones with a trailer attached to it. Cargo van is a van that doesn't have seats in it. I mean, other than the driver's seat and a passenger seat, the rest of the van is empty.
Okay.
Yeah, you
What's
have,
it
like-
called that U-Haul uses?
Cube vans and cargo vans.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be a cargo van. A tractor truck, what you're referring to, would be more like you would think of a Mack truck or stuff like that.
But in any event, he'll say, what, you think I'm a car dealership now? What's this about?
Well, no, it's good. I need it for a job. And I know that you have connections, and I thought that we could, like connect together. Yeah.
This isn't my usual thing, but I mean, you're looking to buy a couple of discrete vans. I mean, I know some riggers and drone dealers who probably know some people who deal with larger vehicles. I could set up a meeting, I guess, but I can't do that out of the kindness of my heart. I am running a business here, so kid, what's this worth to you?
Not a massive amount, I guess. Out of character, I feel stuck. Probably the cost to get the 2 vehicles would be more than it's worth to complete the job. So out of character, I now feel like it's probably a bad call.
To permanently buy them.
Yeah. Well,
but-
I mean, to get the meeting set up as well is like the surcharge. and then to buy one potentially and rent the other one, due to the fact if we're not getting the second one back for one reason or another, if that one's taking the heat off the primary transport.
I'll put it this way. The GMC's Hermes van is a 45,000 new yen vehicle. And the Hermes van is a delivery truck. Like that is its, or delivery van is its primary function. However, you've phrased it as if you want to buy these. Do you think Prodigy has got the presence of mind to say, you know what, we don't need to own them. They just need to be ours for a little while.
You'd probably have the presence of mind to say that. When he says that he's not a chop shop, if you want to buy some vehicles, Prodigy be like, well, we don't need to buy them both. Like, if I could just have them for like a night, or rent them for a night.
Rental, okay. Well, kid. I mean, come on. You're a plug and plays boy here. You should be able to handle this, man. Do you need me to send you a primer on how to jack a truck?
Pink, I'm not going to answer that.
Well, Pink hasn't said anything in character.
That's true. That's true. Well,
that's literally what Andre just said, Hunter.
That was half the joke. Well, we kind of want it to be inconspicuous, and so I kind of want at least one vehicle that I know has no way of being tracked and is large enough to carry a bunch of stuff. And I feel like I could definitely get my hands on one, easy enough, but I can't tell for sure if there's anything hidden that I don't have time to find.
Okay, kid. I like you, and I really like
That's
your
good.
mom. So I'm gonna do you a favor here. All right. I realize this is probably a little bit out of your wheelhouse. You've never done a physical grab like this before, so I'm gonna send you a little Anarchist Manifesto primer specifically on what to do to make sure that your vehicle can't be tracked by the man. You catching my drift here?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Transmitting file now.
File successfully downloaded.
Okay. So, Prodigy, do you have speed reading?
I mean, I don't.
That's a quality.
No,
do you
it's
have
not.
that
Analytical mind is the closest I have to that.
Analytical mind would help you figure stuff out, but this is literally just like a text document. There's no puzzle to it. It's just literally reading it. So, did you want to ask Jack for anything else, or?
At this point, he'd probably give a virtual thumbs up, thank him for his time, and tell him next time he'll have something more financially worth his time. Have a good day.
It's cool, kid. It's cool. You find your mom, all right?
Will do. Sorry, just talking to Robbie just.
Sorry, what?
Sorry, I'm just talking to Robbie just about.
Oh, okay. All right. So, how about the rest of you? Any of you got anything you want? Bear in mind, Prodigy's entire conversation was done in AR. So, Orchid, if you wanted, you could try and eavesdrop on that. But I think you're respecting privacy enough not to bother. And I don't think the rest of you could read Prodigy's hand gestures to really tell what he was doing.
Can I make a knowledge roll for either gangs or underworld to maybe determine where you could buy or get
absolutely.
some vehicles?
Gangs and underworld, those are prime knowledge skills to use in this context.
Okay, they're both 7, so I'll just roll 7.
Smoke will roll as well. The world.
Bishojo
Guys-
chuckles and says, "Hey, I could always get us in a helicopter gunship to take us to the Hammersmith."
So at the same time, Pink wouldn't put her hand on her shoulder because Prodigy's doing this very quietly because he's been quiet for the majority of the night, other than to ask Pink.
Well, bear in mind. You don't need to move your hands for AR, right? You have a
Correct.
direct neural interface,
Correct.
right? So he's
Nobody knows.
just sitting quietly there. Orchid might be the only one to be able to be like, oh, I know what he's doing. So good point.
Smoke possibly as well, since Smoke also has a
But
implanted.
let's see if Prodigy. What is it? Are you going to say anything to the rest of the group, or are you just?
I'm
gonna-
reading it first.
Okay, so you're going to read the whole thing, or just like read the title and like the synopsis?
I'd read that immediately to see if it's immediately helpful for what I'm trying to do. Does it appear to be very useful for what I'm trying to do?
So basically, that's going to take you just a little bit of time because you're not doing it in VR, right? You're doing it in AR. You don't want to slump over in the bar, you said.
He might walk into the laboratory and do it quickly.
Oh, even then, if you're taking that much time, Whiskey and Smoke are going to have their chance before
yeah,
you
for
can.
sure.
Okay.
That's fine.
So, Smoke, Underworld, you haven't been to London recently, but you know full well every major city has black market car dealerships or other means of procuring vehicles without having to worry about identification. The two-headed trouble here is payment and
It's supposed to be done
speed.
around 6, but it doesn't seem like
Whoa.
we are going to
Oh,
get
Bob,
that.
we can hear you loud and clear. I don't think you want us to hear you. Okay. Procurement could be an issue because this job is supposed to take place in 2 days' time. Meanwhile, you can't guarantee you'll be able to get your vehicles arranged in 2 days' time going through certain channels, especially since you don't personally know anyone. Whiskey, on the other hand, you know all that same information, and you know that Beckett has already explained that if the rest of you can't figure out the vehicle things yourselves, he knows how to get some. You could try to convince Beckett just to give you the information so that you can handle it yourself. You're confident that if as long as you don't embarrass him in front of everybody, and you do it politely and professionally, or as politely and professionally as you're physically capable of, he might cooperate and he might just tell you where to go and who to talk to. So do either of you voice anything to the rest of the group?
Yeah, Whiskey would eventually go, so are you guys handling the transportation? Because if not, I might know some people.
Well, I'm not familiar with London. I haven't been here for a while. But I do know that every major city has black market cars. It's just the time crunch. I don't know if we can get it in time. And then there's also the price. I don't know anybody here. It would take me some time to even find out where to go to get these cars.
I know some people, but price would possibly be an issue. If we steal them ourselves, it'll be cheaper, but obviously we'll take a risk with that.
At this
Thing
point,
is, if we go ahead.
Prodigy would be getting up and going to the washroom.
And he'd be discovering it is filthy.
That doesn't surprise him.
So, what's he gonna do in the bathroom?
Is he gonna do what happens when you shoot up in the bathroom of this place and probably do shoot up?
No, he doesn't have a gun. He's going-
So innocent. So innocent.
Shoot up.
He's looking it up. When you
Okay.
take stuff like heroin or cocaine and a
that's
needle.
the informal version of it.
It
Okay.
Yeah.
happens
Anyways, back
all
on
the
topic.
time
Yes.
Back in the bar.
bathrooms.
So he's probably going to like take a second to like look around, and then he's going to like pull out some toilet paper and layer it on his seat, and put his.
Is there any?
I'm pretty sure the toilet paper isn't even clean.
Yeah, no, Prodigy, you're starting to think that maybe going into this room was just a bad idea. There were booths that you could be, sitting in quietly or away from the group in the bar itself. The bathroom, unless you've got like what's the name of that fetish where you're into like really filthy crap? Literally.
I don't want to know. Anyways, he's probably going to step out of the bathroom, find a seat near the door, and put a AR message above his head, BRB, or the 2076 equivalent of
No,
that.
BRB, that totally makes
nice.
sense. Yeah.
Okay, and then put his head between his in the crooks of his arms as he lays down, and then goes into VR to investigate.
Okay. Orchid, you're probably like the one who obviously notices this. Pink said, however, when Prodigy ventured off, so we could go free and dangerous or safe and costly. I personally don't want to spend much money on this job. Orchid says, I think it wouldn't be difficult to just borrow some. I'm sure we can find a few shops, personal trucks from businesses where the owners are on vacation during the job or anything. Personally, I prefer the idea of a handyman van or tech repair, something super mundane and boring that people won't really give two glances to. Hell, pet exterminators, florists, anything would work. Does anyone want to comment on pet exterminators?
We don't know what they do in the Lambeth containment area. They really could need that.
I'm gonna
Desperado,
guess it's
do you-
involving.
Hold on, Desperado, you want to say what you want to say out loud?
I actually might know somebody who could help us out. It won't be for free, but it'd be both better and cheaper, most likely, than trying to buy some vehicles on short notice. Anybody want me to try and give them a call?
Please.
Orchid says
dear.
worth a shot. And Bobob, sorry, you were going to say something as well?
About that pet extermination, is it involving the sentient rats that have been used by pets by certain giants?
Well, possibly yes.
That's what I thought. They could have been pet extermination.
Pretty sure that was out of character there, Orchid. Okay, Pink is ordering a drink. Whiskey. Do you give Pink a drink, or do you tell her to pay first?
Fred, I'm gonna have to ask some cash first. I got scalded out there. Scolded, I mean.
And if I recall, Pink, you've got like 20 new yen to your name right now. Oh, and some drugs. You've got a copious amount of drugs. You could try and barter and find out if whiskey's into that sort of thing. But for pure new yen, you're kind of broke. She'll ask, how much can I get for some Zen or Nova Coke? And whiskey, it's totally your call if you want to accept payment of drugs for serving alcohol. You know that that generally isn't the sort of thing that Pulford approves of, though.
Present.
Fred, that's
It's
not
his bar.
Fred, that's not really my thing. Sorry.
And who's the name of this Bishojo?
That would be Thomas Umbrager, the one who's heads up the local branch of the mercenary group, because I'm sure mercenaries don't have discreet armored vans that they could maybe loan us for a fee.
You know what? I'll take your deal anyway. Because honestly, I rather want you drunk than cammed up out of your head during the job.
And right before that, Orchid would let out a annoyed sigh and say, "Fine, I'll cover her drink and mine. I'll have a chai tea." Whiskey. Chai, out of character, is that something that the Brits usually drink? It's not, Earl Grey or...
They do like Indian food, and chai tea is very tied to Indian food.
Yeah? Okay, so there's a chance, but yours would be really cheap knockoff tea at this bar.
I mean, they did have an entire war, like an
Yeah,
opioid war,
I just
specifically
didn't-
for the chai tea.
Oh, chai in particular?
I mean, that was the massive portion of it.
Oh, okay.
Opium was China, not India.
But it was UK had that war, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they went for teas. They declared war for teas. So that one might not have specifically been it, but
Okay. But yeah, so Whiskey, you have chai flavored soy based tea substitute.
So yeah, she searches for a lot. She kind of blinks at Orchid and kind of like, all right, as she goes and rummages through the cupboards of the bar and everything, and finally she kind of gets out some tea bags, looks at it closely, and like shrugs and starts making tea with it.
And Pink glances at Orchid and says, "Thanks. I don't believe I got your name." And she says, "Orchid works." So Prodigy, roll for me your memorization roll, please. So Bishojo, if you click the little notepad icon next to that contact, can you copy and paste the contents there into a private message for me so I know who this is that we're dealing with?
Yep.
5 hits.
Smoke. Gonna order vodka on the rocks.
Okay, that's sounding more familiar now. Okay. So, how many fucking hits did you get again? 8 versus his 1 and a critical glitch. So let's see if I can do the French accent. I apologize if it is a little of the offensive type, but what name would Bishojo's, like, bubblegum for Pink? What about you? What's your pet name from the Frenchman?
Le petit chauffeur.
The spy, meet the spy, or yeah.
My little flower.
Yes. Ah, my le petit chauffeur. How are you doing?
Not rich or drunk enough, but otherwise pretty good.
Oh, you should come visit. I can get you very drunk.
Well, actually, I do need some help, so maybe if we can work something out.
Oh dear. You said you're not rich. I don't mean to be rude, but what is this that we are going to work out?
Oh, no, don't get... I'm not flat broke, but I need a couple of discreet delivery vans for a job that, won't immediately ping on the grid guide or any of the cops' stolen vehicles registry. And I was thinking, I'm sure you've got a few rigger converted vans that we could borrow for a few hours, return them intact, undamaged.
All right, and it's when you say delivery, how many soldiers?
Less than 10. It's mostly going to be used to transport the goods that we are transporting.
I see. And what kind of mileage do I have to worry about here?
Shouldn't be too far. I'd figure maybe probably less than 100. Probably less than 50, honestly.
Yeah, okay. And the nature of this cargo?
Oh, come on. You know better than to ask about business details like that.
I just the nature, not the details.
Yeah, nothing that blows up or should damage the vehicles in any way. We're borrowing some drugs and cred chips from, well, some people who will be borrowing them from someone else.
Oh, my petit chauffeur, you're so funny. Drugs that don't explode. This sounds perhaps a little bit. When is it that you would be needing this?
2 days from now. And we'd actually be using their truck for the first part of our little escapade, and then swapping into the vehicle you loan us so that we could ditch theirs. So your rigs wouldn't even be near where any of the shooting might be.
Yes, but you did say drugs, and I mean, I do not like the idea of our vehicles perhaps being contaminated. What precautions will you be taking?
No, there's an active chemist in the group. Oh, is this Basojo?
Yeah, but Shoujo doesn't know you're a chemist yet.
Sorry, for some reason the voice reminded me of West End Mike's voice.
Well, because I'm not really trying to do accents. Hers is a little more exaggerated, but I'm not an accent person. But anyway, yes, this is Bashojo, so yeah. Well, they'll be packaged and ready for sale, not bulk, as far as I know. So that should help take care of a lot of it. Beyond that, I'm sure we can rig up some kind of containers to keep them separated from your vehicles. And besides, if they do get damaged or contaminated, I will, I'm good for it. I think you know that.
Yes. Well, the vehicles, they aren't really my department. I'll have to speak with Henry.
All right, that's fine. But, the alternative is we try and go find some street dealer who'll sell us a couple of pickup trucks or something, and it'll cost us more money, and we might not get them in time. So I'm hoping you can help us out. Yes, Henry is secretly the head of a French mercenary company in England.
See, this would have been fantastic to learn in game. Like, we're getting surrounded, and you're like, ooh la la! And then you just hear like 20 ooh la las coming from around the building, and there's like gunshots, and then we're like, we are safe. There is no more villains to shoot at us.
Fuck, I don't even know what to say, Twister. I don't even know what to say.
My petite chérie. Mwah.
No, I can't tell.
And I thought a Bob was racist.
Whoa. Just because I can do an authentic French accent.
Authentic. What's your last name?
It's Quinlan.
And is Quinlan French?
It can be.
But and also, Henry might, it does say here that Thomas is more the guy in charge. I mean, it's not a strict chain of command, but anyway, we're not asking for a helicopter gunship or an armored personnel carrier, just a few vehicles that we can borrow for a few hours and cut you in for a appropriate slice.
Naturellement. Yes, I will have to speak with Henry, of course. You see,
of course, got to make sure you have them.
Master. Mm-hmm. Yes. You said not APC?
No. We, something that won't attract a lot of attention while we're driving it down the road to make the handoff.
Well,
The ice cream truck.
that might be just a little bit more difficult. I'm sure you remember our fleet tend to be more of the practical for combat purposes, but maybe the repair trucks.
Yeah, I mean, surely you've got at least, some bulldogs or something. Well, take a look. See what you can do. If you can't help, well, then at least appreciate you giving it a shot.
I will always give you a shot.
Yet you still haven't managed to hit me.
Very good, very good. Yes, all right. Good today.
All right, so at that
Au
point-
revoir. Au
Yeah,
revoir.
I'll hang up at that point.
Okay, and rewinding. Prodigy, your VR reading that document. And what you're getting the impression of here is that, this is like step-by-step guide for multiple different vehicle manufacturers, where to look and how to disable tracking equipment, but from the perspective of being the vehicle's owner, that you don't want the government, man, watching you where you go and shit. So here's how you fix that. Except all this information is incredibly helpful for someone who would be stealing vehicles and trying to prevent anyone from tracking those vehicles. Like just the amount of detail and the step-by-step, easy-to-read format. You imagine you could hand this to Whiskey, and as long as Whiskey's literate, she should be able to follow it. She might not be able to adequately apply some of the more technical aspects, but this would make it as easy as possible for someone like Whiskey to do it. And you being
Just
technically
don't use
minded,
big woods.
well, you being technically minded, like this is like child's play to you.
Remind me to send him a bouquet with a thank you letter.
Digital or physical?
Yes. It's gonna have like an AR representation, make it so it's ever so slightly larger than it actually is, and the colors are just that little bit more vibrant.
But yeah, so Prodigy, you now have the information you need to get a standard civilian issue vehicle scrubbed of tracking devices, grid guide connections, any identifiable materials, even how to get rid of stuff like the VIN number and that kind of information. Like this goes full detail on how to make a vehicle untraceable.
So that would take some time.
Oh yeah, no, and yeah, this is not something that you do overnight, but the technical ones, disabling tracking chips and identification chips and spoofing them, that's all stuff you could do pulling an all-nighter.
Okay.
For two vehicles, yeah. And if you had someone who is also technically minded, maybe mechanically minded as well, helping you out, could be done a lot quicker.
Okay. So with that, he's going to set up. Go back over to the group. Did I catch any information that everyone else is passing around?
Not since going to the bathroom.
Okay. He's gonna sit back down in the spot that he wasn't before. And then shoot Pirate and Orchid a message each, privately asking what he's missed.
Honestly, not much.
That's
This is why.
That's because yeah, two of them. It's Pirate is like
Pirate's busy focused that since we know we're dealing with drugs, is planning out the safety equipment we're gonna need so that we don't accidentally, in case something goes wrong.
Okay.
We don't know if it's drugs though, do we?
No, we've been told it's drugs.
Okay.
And we know it's not Zen. In fact, Pink here's something I forgot to ask you to do earlier. Roll memory, please.
Uh-oh.
I mean, it's a minimum of 2 dice.
We can do that as well, Pink, but first memory. And you kind of don't want to screw this one up. It's not going to ruin the mission if you fail this roll, but it's kind of information that will be very helpful for someone like Pirate.
Yeah, because honestly, depending on how bad this is, I may have to make sure that any kind of mask we're wearing are stronger filters. How many
and
kind of
that's
gloves?
that's exactly it. So, pre-edged. Okay, that was kind of shitty, but it is what it is. I think that's your second edge at this point, right? Excuse me. And so, before anyone else can talk, Pink, you will have the recollection. It's your decision if you want to share it with the others. But you'll remember that one of the things that the criminals mentioned was that they're going to need to get their hands on, oh fuck, where was it? How long ago did I write this note down? Fuck me sideways. Have I missed it? I guess I'll just have to come up with like, okay, here we go. Something along the lines of a Ziploc hydro bag. So go ahead and roll your drug knowledge now to see if you can kind of remember what that might mean. Okay, it's kind of a weird thing, but you think whatever this drug is, they're saying that it needs to be like in a fluid or something, like it's liquid. So if you want, you can share that revelation with the rest of the party, or you can be a bitch and keep it to yourself. Or you could edge your drug roll if you want to have a better idea of what it is exactly you're dealing with. But that's your call. So she will say, they said something about keeping shit in liquids, and she shrugs. Pirate, do you want to roll
Are
it?
you using that in the figurative or the literal term?
Oh, I had liquid shit the first time I ate curry here.
Probably didn't go to the good curry shop then.
Oh no, it's just that whole spicy stuff.
And Pink will say, not actual shit.
Okay. So, guessing this is just going to be...
Pirate can go ahead and make a chemistry knowledge roll. Not the chemistry skill, but the chemistry knowledge.
Yeah, which is 12 since this is not industrial. Or would chemical engineering also work?
Not engineering, no.
Okay, so just 12 then. I'm gonna use up one of my 2 edge points then. We edge this.
And Orchid will say liquid. So if their truck is a tanker, that's going to complicate things.
I highly doubt they'd be transporting that much liquid, but they would need it.
Damn.
Yeah, that hurts, Pirate. All right. Well, chemicals that are in a liquid format, usually you don't transport them in bags. Usually it's in vials or flasks or solid containers. Putting a liquid in a bag suggests that the liquid is actually going to be flopping about. Like it's a very strange thing to put liquid in a bag versus a solid container. That's about as much as you can ponder up right now.
So did he mention that these were bads, or did he just said drugs? He didn't specify what kind of drugs, though, right?
No one has specified which type of drugs yet. Pink just now recollected something about liquid bags.
Okay, so the basic suits then to make sure no one gets accidentally, well,
Doused if a bag ruptures.
yeah, definitely gotta go like, okay, so basic stuff, especially if this was like DMSO based, which would just be waterproof bags, completely sealed, no exposed skin, multiple layers, that kind of stuff. Looks at whiskey, makes a special note, make sure she doesn't drink any. Underlined, bold.
Italic as
Are
well.
you saying some of this out loud?
She would definitely, I would say, her note.
Probably the underline, bold, italic.
Well, I mean, we have kegs here and such if we need liquid transportation.
But you definitely see these like on the notes and stuff. She's would be typing out in VL. She would definitely be mumbling this to herself, her note taking.
Does anyone care to listen to the mumbling gnome?
Yeah, it'd definitely be like under her breath and like mumbling note taking. Just be like,
Well,
that,
Smoke knowing that.
work on that.
Well, Smoke knowing that Pirate is a chemist. He would probably be listening in case he's saying something like, okay, this might be an
All
issue.
right,
this
go
might be
ahead
an issue."
and do a perception with your audio bonus.
No, I don't think Smoke has any audio bonus yet.
Okay,
I was
then.
planning on getting some. We just haven't gotten to work on it. So, this isn't active.
But yeah, Prodigy, neither of the small girls gave you a satisfactory answer. So, what are you going to tell the rest of the party?
So if we don't really have any other options, I can try to active perception.
That won't be enough, Smoke. You're basically just, she's mumbling so quietly, you can't really make out what she's saying. But please continue, Prodigy.
Wait, is she speaking at the same time I am?
Mumbling very, very quietly. Like, just.
Is that enough for lip reader though? Perception.
You can use your lip reader software to try and decipher that, but again, she's not speaking in full sentences, and she's mumbling. So your lip reader will have to get really high results. Prodigy, you were saying.
If we don't really have any other options, I can, I guess, scale 2 vehicles, make them untrackable. If I have a night to do it, and then I don't know what to do with the vehicles afterwards, though. Unless
Oh,
we
you
just
you would also be able to reset everything, and there would be no log of where the vehicle had been.
True. Unless we wanted to keep the vehicles, is what I'm saying.
If you can make them untrackable, I can also steal them. If you can make them untrackable.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can make them untrackable digitally in a night, and then within a week, I'd definitely be able to make it physically untrackable.
And Orchid will say, I could help. Shouldn't be too hard.
Oh no, it really shouldn't be now. I mean,
Bob, feel free to give Hunter very small, like 3-word sentences that he might be able to lip read off of Pirate. But sorry, Prodigy, you may continue. Just type them out, Bob. Just 3 or 4.
on a completely different note, I've got a small puppy between my feet now.
That's not your nephew.
You're right. It's also not my dog, and this dog is 14 years old, so it's definitely not my nephew.
And 14 is not really a puppy.
All dogs are puppies. Come on.
They do think that, don't they?
What do you mean they? I
The
think
dogs
that.
themselves, they never grow up. They
It's true.
always have that mindset.
One of my neighbors is off camping,
Well,
and while they're off camping, they let me watch the dog.
okay, but
I just haven't had a dog in years. So,
Back to
anyways,
Shadowrun.
back to Shadowrun. Wait. When I go on a tangent, then we gotta get. So, anyways, yeah, if we have to, if we're able to get our hands on them, yeah, we should be able to. Do I have any of the jammers still?
the ones that you got from that very scary
very early job.
Remoras.
Yeah, one of those.
The Remora ones, yes. The ones that Athena had? No,
True,
Prodigy
I'm
would
saying.
not have the jammers that Athena had.
Hey, everybody, we're just gonna start pooling our resources. Hey, Prodigy, want these? Ah, there we go. So I had
does
that.
have 2 jammers.
Perfect.
Bendable
Because
jammer area rating 4 and rating 3.
not as good as I was hoping.
Bear in mind, you and Orchid could jam on the fly as well.
Yes.
And technically,
Which is-
so could Smoke.
Yeah, which it's potentially going to fail us, but it's if it's necessary, it's necessary because I realize we've also never gone over the fact of Prodigy wanting to purchase a vehicle, so I'm not going to say that I have one.
I think if you had a vehicle, it would not be a cargo van.
No. I'd be just a vehicle that's large enough to carry specifically a steel lynx, which is considered a large drone, in a protected area to make it so that it wouldn't get picked up immediately. But I was saying, use that to transport the jammer to get to the vehicles to make it so that when we start to steal them, we can do so without it immediately being picked up and like tracked.
And you're expressing this in character, appropriately phrased as
Oh,
Prodigy.
it's not appropriately phrased. Only Orchid and maybe Smoke would understand what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. So he's being very technical about
Yeah.
the technology he has. So Smoke, what kind of knowledge skills have you got?
Knowledge skills, antiques, bars and clubs, economics, English, literature, security design, security tactics, and underworld.
And what's your computer skill?
1 point, total of 8.
So yeah, roll the 8 SR4 then. Yeah, you can follow Prodigy well enough. Orchid, you live and breathe this shit. I'm not even going to make you roll, especially since your character sheet's not done yet. So yeah,
With a 3, you'd probably understand the majority of it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there might be some technical terms that might go over his head, but he knows enough to comprehend what Prodigy's explaining.
Yeah, yeah, effectively, for sure.
He also has an auto picker and a maglock sequencer. So
The
Probably
auto picker might be helpful, but really, Prodigy and Orchid, if they find the right vehicle, should just be able to Wi-Fi open the lock.
And I do fear I will need to go soon, as one, my
Yep.
toothache is acting up again, and two, I have work pretty early in the morning.
Okay, well, any other major planning elements any of you want to address then before we wrap up the session?
Is Prodigy's route the first line of options or the last line of options?
Prodigy's route is the cheapest line of
Yes.
option.
But that
Or-
wasn't the question.
I know, but that's how I'm helping you decide. Do any of you want to pay one of your contacts for something that you're basically renting, or do you want Prodigy to get it for you for free?
And then potentially, depending on what him and Orchid and potentially Smoke agree on, sell you a vehicle for super cheap.
Well, I mean, I guess part of it is it depends on what we're going to get charged by our contacts. For 1,000 new yen, sure, I'll pay the contact. For 10,000 new yen, heck no.
Whiskey is kind of pro the cheap option, and especially because she kind of secretly wants to steal a car. Or a van, or whatever.
So you prefer Prodigy? The way the Prodigy's doing it, you wouldn't get to steal the car.
Sure she would. She'd get to pick it up and take it with her.
I mean, not these vehicles, no. And also the way that we're doing it, we're literally walking to a car, getting in the car, and driving away. And while we're driving away, we're getting rid of any signals we can, and then parking it, getting rid of the physical stuff that we can, and then we have a car for a day.
You did miss one step there that you did think of earlier, but you didn't mention it there.
Block it?
Yes.
Sure, that's what I was saying, get rid of all the signals that are
Well,
going out.
Yeah, that's block the signals till you can get to remove them.
It's cute though that how you think that will happen without any resistance. That's a nice optimistic view.
It depends on where you're stealing the car from.
If we're going right into the Lambeth area, then we're probably gonna be like, hey, that's my car. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, you can keep the car. I'm sorry. Well, what?
I'm not sure who's doing the shooting and who's shouting. Like, who's taking
Neither am
the
I. I think that it's gonna be like Smoke doing the shooting in pink, and then Prodigy saying my leg.
Why are they shooting Prodigy?
You know what? Things just go so poorly in this group sometimes. I don't even know. I just prepare for the worst, so I'm either pleasantly surprised or I'm right.
Okay, that's fair. That is terribly fair.
However, I don't think it would be Smoke doing the shooting.
Yeah, Smoke's more of a up close and personal, if it ever comes to that. But Shoujo, on the other hand, she's probably hanging out of the what's the thing at the top of it called? Not skylight.
Sunroof.
Sunroof. She's hanging out of the sunroof, and you all look up and say, "There wasn't a sunroof a minute ago."
Why is the sunroof whiskey head shaped?
No, more like cutting charge.
Yeah.
There was a guy on top of the car. Now there's not. And we've got a sunroof.
Yeah,
But,
by the way, Hunter, I posted what you would have read.
And unfortunately, Smoke has no idea what any of that means.
Really? What's his knowledge, his logic, and his intuition?
Well, that might be a different story. Intuition 4, logic boosted to 7.
Fuck yeah! Roll common sense. Come on.
Yeah, I went from most in depth to easier making sense wise. So most difficult to least difficult.
Yeah. Okay.
Latex.
You don't know what type 2 or type 3 suits are, but you could look it up. Hermetically sealed, you know what that is. I mean, Smoke knows what that is.
Yeah.
And latex gloves, underwater resistant gloves, pretty straightforward. Reading into it, Pyrette is planning for a chemical dosing.
In case of a chemical dose,
Yes, sorry.
we prepare for that.
Yeah, sorry, that is much better way to phrase it.
Yeah.
And El Diablo, I know you personally have some reservations about hackers stealing vehicles, but Prodigy is more powerful than Alley Cat, and Orchid, God damn it, Orchid
Yeah.
has Orchid's player is now better knowledgeable about what she can do, and Orchid is designed to be much better Alley Cat than Alley Cat.
Alley Cat 2.0.
Yeah, and
Of course, sure thing.
Smoke's case, he probably wouldn't have a gun. He'd probably have his crossbow.
You still shoot crossbows.
Yes, but it doesn't make noise.
Who said anything about noise? You were saying Prodigy got shot in the leg.
Maybe Whiskey shot him in the leg.
No, he would no longer have a leg if Whiskey shot him in the leg.
Wait, so who shot him through the heart and who's to blame?
You give love a bad name. But
So
seeing as
anyway.
we're like seriously tangenting now, was there anything else anybody want to do with this session, or shall we call it a night? And next week we will do the job.
That sounds fine to me.
That
All
sounds-
opposed.
Good.
So you're
Motion
opposed to
carries.
Bobob?
No, I'm good for what it was. I don't pose. Sorry.
I'm opposed to a bow bob. Sorry, go on.
Okay, so Prodigy does not get any hazardous suits then.
He won't need him. He's not going to the front
Yeah,
line.
I'm not going there at all.
I
Well,
mean,
then you're gonna
Orchid.
be the
Sorry.
you're gonna be the lab rat then, so we can figure out what these drugs are.
oh no, when you see these drugs, you're going to figure out what they are in a real big hurry.
And hopefully I'm prepared for in case of spillage.
They're fairy bombs. I don't know if that's a drug name. It probably
okay, I want to say it, but then spoilers. So I guess I'll put it in the spoiler chat for what type of drug you're going for.
In code, or are you gonna post a thing right immediately afterwards to make it so that we don't catch
I
that?
imagine you folks would prefer code, right?
I mean, either way is fine. It's just it won't mean anything to me anyways because I'm not going to be googling it afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. I'm not knowledgeable enough for.
Oh god damn it, Pink! You're snooping on your character sheet. I should have left it in code.
Anyways, I'm going to end my recording and go to bed.
Good night, Diablo.
Have a good night.
Good night, Diablo.
Where did I leave this note?